What's up ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review. And today we are checking out what is probably one of the most beautiful convertible cars ever built. This is the Alfa Romeo 8C Spider. It is a 2010 car. They were built from 2009 and only 500 of these were built. Of course it is the Spider version of the HC Competition, which they also made 500 of. Well, they are two of the most beautiful cars ever made in my opinion. I absolutely love them. We filmed the coupe 10 years ago for our channel. We didn't get to drive that car, but we made some awesome videos with it. But today we borrowed this car at a Rubal Exclusive Cars. A very nice, relatively young company with a lot of cool cars, and they actually have 3 of these HCs in stock right now. So they've got this one, they've got a red Spider which has been sold, and then they've also got a racing yellow HC coupe, which is outrageously cool. They only made 8 of those in that color. So I mean, go buy that car if you have the money, because that car will be €500,000 in a couple of years, I think. So we got there this morning, and after they moved to other Italian beauties. This car came out for us to enjoy today. So big thanks to Rubal. Go check them out. I'll link their website in the description. So the 8C Spider. Wow, it is still so gorgeous. As I said, it's a 2010 car. So it's 11 years old, but it's still so freaking gorgeous, and the design is just timeless. It was designed by a guy called Wolfgang Egger. The Competition, the coupe. Apparently the story is that he just drew it. He designed it, and then he had a couple of skill models made. And then he showed that to Alfa male management without their knowing. And that really does make it extra cool. And it was designed to look like the awesome Alfa Romeos from the 1920s and 30s. Now this Spider version was announced because they had such an incredible reception of the Competition. They thought, well, okay, let's make 500 more because we're definitely going to sell those. And they got 1,200 orders for this car when they announced it. Only 500 were made, so 700 people were disappointed, unfortunately. But it is absolutely gorgeous still. And most of the body is carbon fiber. So it is a true full-blown thoroughbred supercar if you ask me. So we've got these 20-inch wheels. They are not like the classic design with the round spokes. These are a little bit more classic. But they do fit the Spider very well, I would say. And then behind that we've got carbon ceramic brakes from Brembo with black brake calipers. Moving on, we've got a little air vent here. Little badge, and then we've got black mirrors. Black surrounds around the window. This is also carbon fiber. The coupe has an old carbon fiber roof. So when they made the Spider they had to strengthen the car. They did so by creating a couple of beams that connect the rear and front subframe like that. And then we've got a couple of cross braces from the suspension towers front and rear as well, which really strengthens up the car. Makes it a lot more rigid, and it does make it 90 kilos heavier than the coupe. But still it's 1650 kilos. So it's still not bad, but there is just no bad angle for this car. It really doesn't matter where you go and look. It just looks stunning. I honestly think that this is the most beautiful car from the last like 50 years. The coupe and the Spider are both incredible. Okay, so carbon fiber body. I can show you guys that a lot of these panels are in fact carbon fiber. There it is. Really beautiful. Oh, by the way, there's not a lot of storage. You can't take a lot of luggage with you on your trips because you can see that there's nothing behind the seats. And there's nothing here, it's basically one bag, not too big, and apparently Alfa Romeo really wanted it to be a 2+2. But Wolfgang the designer said no because it would ruin the looks of the car, and well, I agree. So for the Spider what they also did is that they moved the fuel tank forward to improve the weight distribution. Of course, because you have a lot more weight on the Spider. So they did a couple of things. One of them is that fuel tank that moved forward to give it a perfect 50-50 weight distribution again. So this platform is basically a shortened Maserati platform. It's got the engine as well, so this is the 4.7-liter V8 that you find in a quadriporter or a Gran Turismo. With 450 horsepower and 470 Newton-meters of torque, you can see the cross-bracing here really gorgeous as well. And this engine linked to this exhaust. This is also bare carbon here. Very cool. But this engine with this exhaust is outrageous. Now, in addition to being one of the most beautiful cars, it is also one of the best sounding cars. So I'll start it up and let you guys hear that because it is insane. That is insane. So on the interior we have a lot of carbon again. So the entire dash here is carbon fiber. Absolutely beautiful with this satin matte finish. And then we've got this piece of aluminium which is solid and machined. So all these parts have been cut out and then this has been beautifully machined. And then we've got a little plaque here that says HC Spider 500 Limited Edition. And we've got these seats which are from a Ferrari Enzo, with beautiful leather that has been chosen because it absorbs less heat for the convertible, which is super smart. And then beautiful carbon on the doors as well. You can see that the entire door here, the panel all carbon fiber with this gorgeous braided leather aluminium door handles. Absolutely gorgeous. Really beautiful. And then we've got this Alfa steering wheel which is as hard as rocks. Which is kind of strange. So we'll go for sport and manual. Okay, we're going to turn around. As you can see we are at a new place. So I'm just going to drive around and see if we can find a nice piece of road. While enjoying this amazing car. Which is an honor to drive. I mean, again, big thanks to Rubul because this is so special. Oh man, it is very hard to describe why this is so special. Why this sound is so special. But if I had to take a guess or try to explain it, it's a very deep sound. It's not insanely loud, but it sounds like nothing else. You could put 15 V8 powered supercars next to each other, and you would be able to recognize this sound. And the other thing that's really recognizable is that you have this little pause in between the shifts. Because the shifts are not that quick. Oh, these crackles, but this pause. And it sounds a bit messy. You have that crackle on the overrun, but you also have that crackle in the shift sometimes. Especially when you have it in, I think that's in automatic mode. That sounds insane. But you can hear that little balls in between. Like the gears, and you have that little crackle in there, and that is absolutely quintessential HC sound. Now the gearbox does get a little quicker. The further you go up the rev range. I don't think it gets as quick as it does in like a Mixtradale. So performance 4.4 seconds to 100. Top speed 295 kilometers an hour. But it's really not about those numbers. It is about the fact that this car, it just speaks to you. What kind of beautiful road is this, by the way? Ortane, well done. He did find this road pretty quickly, but the feeling this car gives you is just second to none. And apparently the concept car had a 4.2-liter V8. Also from Maserati, and apparently they were thinking about putting a supercharger on that engine for this car. But I'm actually glad that they didn't. Because I think this 4.7-liter naturally aspirated fits this car really well. Oh man, I don't think I've ever had this much fun in a car going this slowly. It just doesn't really matter. It's just now, of course, this Spider version came a lot later than the coupe. It was, I think, about 3 years. And in that time it took them quite a long time to figure out how to do this. How to build this car, but it also gave them the opportunity to improve the car. And they really did. So apparently this car they stiffened up the springs and softened the dampers to give it a more supple character. And also they had to account for the weight increase of 90 kilos. They changed the steering to make it feel less nervous. And apparently it is quite a big difference, and this Spider the driving feel is a lot better. Apparently. I mean, I haven't driven a coupe, so I can't really judge that. But that seems to be the case, which is really cool. Okay, let's turn around here. Oh man, those downshift crackles are insane. Now a big coincidence actually is that we drove the McStradale last week. The Gran Turismo, which is a car that has a lot in common with this one. But they feel completely different. This car it's not really aimed at driving performance like that Gran Turismo is. It's not a super quick car. We did 10-something 100 to 200. It's really not about that. It is just driving around and enjoying this sound. Oh my lord, that is really insane. So when this car came out it was more expensive than an F430 Ferrari. It was very very expensive. The Spider was, I think it started at like 300,000 euros in the Netherlands. It was very very expensive, and price has dropped quite a bit. I think we saw one for sale for like 130 or 140,000 euros. But I told his dad to buy one because he thought that they were going to go up in value. Well, they are back at the 300,000 euro mark now, so 10 years later or 8 years later. And I think they will go up further. Because it is such a special car. It really doesn't disappoint. Brake pedal is a bit mushy, but you do feel that there is a lot of performance behind the pedal. But man, what an honor to be driving this car. I really feel so privileged when I drive this kind of car. And it does live up to the hype. This is outrageous, man, and it is even better than I can remember. So this is why this is such a classic car, and why this is a modern classic and is going to go up in value. It is jaw-droppingly beautiful. And it has this insane soundtrack that feels so mechanical. That little pause in the upshifts, that little crackle you get. The sound is so old school. It's so satisfying and touches you on the inside as a petrolhead. As a car lover, it really does. It moves you, and very few cars do that nowadays. So that is why this is a legend, and it will always be a legend. So that's it for this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. You can subscribe by clicking the big button in the middle right there.